Hello, bonjour, sawadika. This is Patricia. We are here in my studio in Bangkok. This is the Pilates secret in Bangkok. A secret Pilates place. Today I would like to talk about the flow. And the flow is one of the Pilates principles, and this is a principle that I find often neglected through people, and that is such a pity because this is so great when you practice Pilates with flow. Remember, there are 7 Pilates principles. Whatever school you are coming from, there are some people who are coming from a school where they will think there are 5 Pilates principles. There are people who will come from another school where they will believe there are 6 Pilates principles. But me, I believe there are 7 principles. And after reading Joseph Pilates' book, you can clearly see that we should talk about 7 Pilates principles. And those 7 principles are the breathing, control, precision, concentration, centering, alignment, and flow. Flow, and this is what I would love to talk about today, because flow is such an amazing principle. If you know how to play with the efficiency of movement, because this is what means flow actually, efficiency of movement. Working with the economy of movement. So oftenly I find this is quite neglected in classes. When I see people practicing, I see some kind of robotic movement from one exercise to another one. There should be no break. You move from an exercise to another one. And this is what makes actually the method wonderful. When you apply all the principles, and particularly this one, flow, efficiency of movement, you enjoy so much. It's so much fun to work and be graceful, because at the end, this is how you want to become. You want to, when you practice Pilates for years, you are going to walk gracefully, you are going to improve your posture, you are going to move your arms gracefully, and actually I always tell my students, take for example 2 women, they are twins, and they dress the same way, exactly the same way. One is walking like this. And the other one is working like that. One practices Pilates and the other one is not practicing Pilates. And why is this Pilates so magic that it's going to make you working with efficiency of movement? Because you will apply the 7 principles. When you practice Pilates, you want to benefit from the method, right? So you are going to start to implement actually in your daily life what you've learned with your Pilates workout. And what happens when you practice Pilates? You are going to strengthen your core muscles. And what are the core muscles? Core muscles are not just only the abdominals, but they are muscles that support your skeleton, and they are deep muscles. They are lazy muscles. We can only target those muscles by using the Pilates method or practicing ballet, dance, surfing, or there is a technique to target those muscles. And this is what we do when we practice Pilates. And when we practice Pilates with the principles, when we do it with precision, with control, And when we do it in a flowing way, when we implement our breath, when we are centering and all the principles, right? So we actually fight against the gravity. So Pilates is the great exercise to fight against the gravity which is the enemy of the human brain. So here I would like to talk about one of the principles, which is one of the principles of the Pilates method, which is the flow or efficiency of movement. So when we practice Pilates, we want to try to flow from a movement, from an exercise to another exercise, just like in a flowing way, not like in a robotic way. So we want to do a movement, and we are going to know exactly how to breathe efficiently, how to do the movement with precision, how to be well aligned, and we are not going to move our arm, for example, just like in a robotic way. We are just going to implement everything from A to Z, which means that when you do a movement like from your spine, implementing a movement, for example, with your arm. I'm going to show and demonstrate an example. For example, here, if I want to do a lateral flexion here, I'm going to implement my arm, keeping my shoulder down, and I'm going to stretch my spine, but you see I am assisting myself with my arm. So my arm here is following the movement and helping my spine to create spinal elongation, rather than just keeping my arm here or just there. You know, I'm just going to create such a kind of spring movement. You know, my arm is up and following the movement of my spine, creating a length into this movement. And when I'm activating my arm, when I'm using my arm, as you can see, even my fingers, you see, I try to implement the movement from the beginning to the end. So from my hip to my fingertip, and everything should be this way. So let me show you the reformer, which is one of the most used apparatus nowadays, the reformer. Let's have a look. I want to show you actually what I often see in group classes, reformer group classes. So let me explain, for example, from a very famous exercise on the reformer, leg circle. So here, for example, as you can see, everything okay. I remain neutral, my alignment is okay. I'm not talking about all the principles here, we talk about flow, right? So after you implement all the principles and you are circling your legs, when you work with flow, you don't want to do hoop, 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 but you want to control the return of the carriage, and you want to open and close the spring with control, right? So here I continue with lower and lift. So same emphasis here, opening the spring, closing the spring. So if I don't work with control here, I'm going to close the carriage too quick. No, we want to work with flow. So I implement my breath, I focus on all principles, and if you want to take really care and you work with body, you work your body with your mind, and you implement all principles, you cannot then just close the carriage too quick, otherwise you rip the benefit, right? Now from here, where I work my legs, my feet are in the straps, I am going to do a transition for a mid-back series. And oftenly in group classes, I see that people remove their straps here, and they take their time and they work then the mid-back like this. And sometimes I even see they close the carriage also too quick. Hoop, and there is no control, the flow is wrong. Poof, zero, right? Then after this transition here to rowing, so back rowing series, so people put the cracks on the floor and they take the time to remove the spring. Then they are taking the time to lower the headrest. They take back their straps. So during all this time, you know, it's like a break. You're not working out. And then you realign your body, so it takes time again. And then you go to back rowing, right? And same here, you have to close the carriage with control. And you have to posteriorly tilt your pelvis with control and close with control. And articulate your spine one by one with control. All right, now if I work in a flowing way, let me demonstrate you what I find very motivating and that I really like when I practice Pilates and when I teach my students on the reformer. So let's take all the same exercises, do exactly the same. So we make it short because it's a video, we don't have so much time, right? So I'm gonna do just 2 leg circles and lower and lift only 2 times. And breathing and center. Good. Now I'm gonna remove my straps and I'm gonna remove it and quickly to my mid-back series. And from my mid-back series, without any break, I'm going to move to back rowing series. Pick up my straps in one hand, turn around, and ready to go. And this is flow. There is no break. From one exercise to another one. You see? So this is how we create flow when we work on the Pilates method. And this is actually what I find really the beauty of the method, is to really try to create your workout actually, with efficiency of movement from an exercise to another one with no break. And as there is no break, you know, you enjoy because you are in a kind of trance. Actually, it brings you to a state of mind where you are with yourself, you know, in your body and in your mind, and you stay very focused. You are concentrated on the movement and on all the principles, and you never let it go. It's just a flow. I want to show you how to demonstrate here another exercise, which is mermaid. So on the reformer here, you see I'm gonna press the carriage out, and as you can see, my arm again here is graceful. I am not just, you know, pushing out and doing this kind of ballistic movement. I am integrating, you know, all my body assisted by my mind here. And I'm going to flow into rotation, into another exercise. And to make it flowing, I'm going to de-rotate to come back to close the carriage. So how this affects also your daily life, you know, when you work and you practice Pilates with flow and with all the principles. All this mindfulness that Pilates brings you is actually something that you feel in your daily life. You feel because by practicing Pilates for hours, days, weeks, months, years, you are building up stamina, because we all know that when you implement, when you learn to breathe and re-breathe, because we are all, breathing in a shallow way when we are working in front of our computer, and we often neglect actually to breathe deeply. And Pilates is bringing you to this moment of awareness to just breathe deeply and to center yourself, to align yourself, and to work with precision and with flow. And this is this is a reason why the Pilates method is called contrology originally, right? So when you are working your core muscles and you are moving your spine in every direction, using all those principles actually in your daily life, what it makes, it's like you have a body. It's like you have a body with springs, and you are, just moving efficiently, and you become more graceful, and all the moves you are going to do are becoming much nicer and looking easier, and it makes your life easier. It makes yourself a better person. You are less suffering from fatigue, and you are more concentrated. You benefit so much from this wonderful method that is Pilates. So don't you want to be more graceful? Don't you want to be more attractive in your daily life? So, à bientôt. Walk with gracefulness.